Hello everybody, this is Gold League Gamer 1 and Dyne, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VI.
Now this part is either one of the easier or harder parts of the first half of the game, because there's 80,000 of the enemy and 7 of you guys. Nice little Mystery Science 33,000 reference, Red Zone Cuba, if you haven't seen that episode. Basically, the key to victory is have the best equipment, be at least level 15, and split up your team so you have at least one person who can hit all enemy groups in one party.
This is also like when we were protecting Terra earlier in the game.
Oh, it's General Kitty, the traitor! Delightful! This will be fun! I'd laugh perfectly in sync with the video. Isn't that great?
It is.
Now, he summons that many soldiers at first, but there will be more that spawn. Go! Get those vile insects! I'm not going to miss any more lines. You are in control of each of your groups. You push Y to switch between them. If any of the soldiers reach Banon, it's instant game over. You can go ahead and set up a couple people at the choke points right here, and have one go forward if you so desire. This is a really interesting part of the game. Like I said, it can be either be really easy or really hard, depending on your setup and how trained your party members are. But it's also kind of a mean one too, because you really don't have anything to prepare. You can't visit any shops or anything before you come fight these guys.
Yeah, I know the worst part is you can't even save the inventory during this part.
You have to save beforehand, and in order to upgrade equipment, you have to let my voice crack. But in order to do that, you have to talk to each party member before the battle starts to switch to them to re-equip them. Now that my Linkara Superboy Prime impression is done, fortunately you can get into the menu and heal up, distribute items, and re-equip your party members between each battle, but once a character touches a soldier, they fight. But Edgar and Sabin are your MVPs for this thing, simply because of Edgar's auto crossbow and Sabin's blitzes that can hit all enemies. And Gao has a few rages that will hit all enemies, but they're kind of random.
Yep.
And if you decide to fight every enemy in the battle here, it can take a while.
Well, don't you have to fight every single one in order to advance?
Nope, you can. Well, like in the first battle, you can set up a couple people at the choke points to act as tower defense guards, and send one group to bum rush the boss. So once you defeat Kefka, this battle's over.
Well, it's that simple.
Yep, it's pretty much the case of what it was at Doma Castle. Take out the commander, and the regular troops flee.
Yeah, I wish I would have known that about a week ago, and I would have given that a shot.
Yeah, it looks like Celeste still has the rune edge. She's doing plenty damage, using all her MP in the process. Or maybe wrong, that was probably just a critical hit. Yeah, I don't think Locke has any armor on. Unfortunately.
Did you find it weird that I made Kefka say General Kitty?
Nope. I can say whatever the hell I want, because I'm Kefka, damn it!
Yes, you are indeed Kefka.
Yes, just check out some of the lines I say in Dyne's LP of this. Hey, no shilling for me.
Oh.
It's not advertising if you're not getting paid for it.
I know, we discussed that in the Yoshi's Island race.
This team's probably the highest. My voice is still cracking. I don't know what's going on. This team's probably the highest level of the group.
Yeah. So these guys will probably stand a better chance.
Yep, and if you do play your cards right, you can set it up so Sabin and Gao attack, and they can probably charge up one of Kyan's sword techs, and have him finish off the group. Yeah, this battle is just extremely versatile. You can... again, preparation is the big key, but once you get that going, there's really no wrong way of doing this.
Just like the fact that there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
Exactly. No wrong way to lick the cream off an Oreo.
Yeah, because I remember when they have those old commercials from the 90s where where they talk about how people eat a Reese's peanut butter cup?
Oh yeah, I still have some of those on tape from when I taped some shows from that era.
Yeah, one thing I remember is the line at the end, there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
Yep, spam that auto crossbow with Edgar. He has infinite uses of it. Comes in super handy for this area. Now there are about 3 different enemy groups from the regular enemies, maybe 4. We'll know as we get further along in here. There's also one elite mook guarding Kefka, and you can slip by him if you're quick, but he's not that hard. And if you took the time to build up Gao in the Veldt, highly recommend that you have the stray cat. But the brawler is good enough for his default. And if you're used to this music, you'll be hearing it throughout the whole video. This is not the last time you hear this music in the game. The official title is Protect the Espers, and it was actually released as a DLC track on Theater Rhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call.
Ah.
So they turned this battle into rhythm game level.
Final Fantasy, one of the biggest franchises in video game history.
And the most popular RPG franchise in the West, but outdone in Japan by Dragon Quest.
Ah.
As the last desperate act, you can surround Banon on the south and on the east, but it's probably better to hit the choke points below where the paths intersect, because that way if you lose someone, you have time to quickly get back in position. And it really kind of stinks that Banon doesn't participate. His free healing would make this so much easier regardless of your level.
I know, right? I mean, Banon sure came in handy when we were fighting Ultros in the Lette River.
And he does nothing here, he just stands back. This battle is just like a big chessboard. Kefka and Banon act as the kings. Once one is checkmated, they're out.
Yeah. Okay. Ah. Yeah, so Banon's like the pawn to Kefka's king?
No, they're both the opposing kings.
Ah.
Once one is taken out, the whole battle's over. Yeah, I don't think Locke has any armor on. He's taking a lot of damage.
Then maybe Kefka's soldiers are like pawns.
Yep. They're just cannon fodder to him. Remember, I sent 50 of them to their death when practicing with magic! It feels so good! Ouch. Critical hit on Locke. Yeah, this team's probably going to have the hardest time. They're at the lowest level. Celeste is using up all her MP with the rune edge. And they can only...
Yeah, it doesn't seem very fair when you could actually use some of her MP to heal.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sword she's equipped with is draining her MP whenever she attacks. Just re-equip her with something else, then that'll take care of the problem.
I didn't think of that.
Okay, Fidor. That's the third group of enemies we run into. Ouch. That one hurt on poor gal.
Fidor. I get it, because it's the Fido.
Yep. It's the bulldog from Warner Brothers cartoons.
With Bugs Bunny being no exception.
Yep. And best thing to do between battles is quickly get into the menu and heal up if you have to. But usually the soldiers are split into 2 different groups. The green ones will have the bounty Doberman and the troopers, and just a group of 4 troopers. The brown ones will have this group and 1 group with a set of heavy armor, the second level of the Magitech armor enemies. And you can actually run into those guys in lock scenario, but you probably will die to them. Back attack. This is actually a good time to use auto crossbow because, of course, you'll take less damage from being in the back row. And the auto crossbow works well enough on its own, but the bioblaster will also poison enemies. Useful on human enemies because they usually are also weak against poison. As a general rule of thumb, humanoid enemies, well, just mammals basically, are usually weak against fire. Insects and fire elementals are weak against ice. Machines are weak against electricity in the Final Fantasy series.
I figured that any enemy that would primarily attack with fire would be weak to ice, and vice versa.
Not always, but sometimes there are exceptions.
Or like, case in point, like any underwater enemy would obviously be weak to fire.
They're actually usually weak against electricity. Oh, Terra has the True Knight equipped. She took the hit. Can Edgar make her sacrifice worthwhile and finish him off? Indeed he can. He's still equipped with his default weapon too, because by now he'd have a spear. And back to this group. They will probably make it through.
Yeah, Troopers makes me think of that song by ABBA called Super Trooper.
I've not heard that one.
Well,
At least,
ABBA was an old group from like back in the 70s.
yeah, I just didn't listen to. I just haven't listened to a lot of their music. And of course, you can always come up with the joke that these are troopers coming off a starship.
Not to be confused with that song by Nicki Minaj.
Haven't heard that one either. Oh, he counterattacked and killed his own friend.
Joke's on you.
Well, sucks to be them. Yeah, that stone ability with Gao's Brawler is super handy because it hits all enemies and has the chance of confusing them. Edgar's Noise Blaster also can confuse enemies, but it doesn't do any damage, so it's usually not worth using. Oh, annihilated. Back to start. Do not $200. Go directly to jail.
Directly to jail.
Yep. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. I always get that mixed up. And Kyan is probably the best tank in the party. He's probably the most heavily armored. And one thing I'm not 100% sure about, I don't know if the enemy that Gao is using for his rage affects his stats at all. Because he'll mimic the attacks, but I don't know if they're calculated against the enemy's original stats or Gao's. I'd imagine against Gao's. So of course, better stuff he has equipped to higher his defense. Back to this group. She might make this because in the back row. Oh, we'll see. Fortunately, she has enough to heal herself. Yeah, usually what I do is I will put Celeste in the group of 3 and have her be in the group that attacks Kefka because she can use her runic ability to absorb Kefka's spells while the other 2 attack him.
Is that what you're doing in your ROM hack?
I think I've already done that. I did this battle a long time ago. I'm over halfway through the game in my LP of that, but need to get back to it.
So that LP has been on hiatus for a while?
Yep, the holiday hiatus. I'm gonna get back to it once I finish Record of Agrest War for PS3. It's the last game on my 2014 gaming goal list.
Yeah, well, yeah. Usually I end an LP before my holiday hiatus and then start a new one in the new year.
Yeah, my schedule is random because, of course, with all the co-op stuff, getting around other people's schedules, it's usually better to get those done and do my own stuff when there's other time. But yeah, last year I had set my gaming goal starting at February 1st to beat any game where I have multiple entries in the series but still had not beaten even the first game in those series. And there are about a dozen games on that list to play through. Record of Agrest War is the last one. If I finish it before February 1st, I'll have met the goal.
Well, you still got some time left.
Yep, I'm trying to do one generation per week because the game spans 5 generations. You have one character, or have the hero basically solve the problems on the continent he's living in, destroy the forces of darkness, get married, and his son will continue on the legacy on the next continent. It's not a bad game. It has a high learning curve. A lot more complicated system than Final Fantasy VI. Nice preemptive attack and probably take out one or 2 of these guys. Confuse the rest. I like how they call it Bounty Man, which is obviously a Doberman. But again, the limitations on the English script. And goodbye, Kyan.
That's all you, gal.
He's berserked. He'll one-shot him. Oh, even with a critical hit. He's mad that he killed his friends got knocked down. Yeah, I gotta heal those guys quickly. Gal will not be able to solo the next battle. Oh, I forgot to tell people that I'm recording.
You usually mention it on your mood message?
Yep. I hang out in 3 different chats, too. So.
I don't blame you.
And that X potion will heal someone 100%. Best to use on someone with high HP. And also usually in the case of an emergency, because tonics are a lot cheaper. And more plentiful.
But as time goes on, they become worthless.
Oh yeah. In fact, after this point in the game, they're already rendered obsolete, because of course you have people getting over 500 HP. Just want to upgrade the potions.
Oh yeah, but don't even get me started on when our allies will go into 4-figure HP.
Yep. And Sabin's usually the first one to hit at 1000 HP, and probably around level 25. He has the highest natural HP growth in the game.
Okay. Yeah, but 4 figures is as far as they can get, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, Locke and Celeste don't have a whole lot of luck on their own. Now, one thing I noticed is Gao's stone ability from mimicking the brawler can either hit all enemies or hit one enemy. Hitting one will, of course, do a lot more damage, but if it hits all the enemies, it has the chance of confusing them all. And that guy killed his own friend as part of his counterattack. Oh no, I thought he was going to kill the one in front.
Yep, joke's on him.
Not that stupid swing is a death finisher where you're taking the most damage. The numbers have thinned out a little bit. There will be one more wave of soldiers coming in, because we haven't run into any heavy armors yet. This is the best time to reposition your allies and heal up if necessary. That one guy was walking in circles down there for a little bit, but here comes the next set. Oh, he just charged right forward. He probably thought he had a straight shot to Banon, and he was just stepping and pausing a moment ago. Oh, these guys do not like Kayan. And KO'd.
Yep.
Yeah,
so that would be more like a TKO?
nope, because he's not getting back up before the count of 10. He only got knocked down once. Yeah, and one thing, if you decide to rush the boss, there will be several troops at the beginning, and they just respawn for a little while. I think there are at least 30 enemy units on this. So it's a long fight, especially when you only have 7 allies in your party. This is a first for Final Fantasy. I don't recall any other game in the series having a tower defense mission like this. One that isn't a mini game, at least, because 7 has 7 is a timed mission. No. 7's is a mini game. It's not a timed mission. The Fort Condor mini game on Final Fantasy 7, which is a much more fleshed out tower defense mini game. You have your individual units with their various strengths and weaknesses, but in reality, all you want to do is line up your units and have them rush the bottom of the screen to quickly take out all the enemies. Super easy, and the rewards are usually worth it too.
Yeah, I find it easier to defeat all these soldiers by just staying as close to Banon as possible.
Close to as close as possible. Again, you want to hit those choke points on the path before the space opens up, because that way, if you got knocked out, you have time to get your allies back together. Once again, you can either let them all come to you, or just rush the boss and end the battle quickly. And again, if you're a perfectionist, you want to run into all 4 groups of enemies, plus the mini-boss and Kefka. And that battle went pretty well. Oh, Terra took a little damage. Yeah, if you use Edgar's tools well, his auto crossbow can carry you through pretty much the whole game. Oh, another one going around in circles.
Yes. Yeah, which makes you wonder, where am I gonna go first?
Now, I'm surprised you haven't run into any heavy armors yet. They usually show up about now.
Any moment now we should hit some.
Yeah, you attack the right guy. Edgar has the HP to spare. I'm actually surprised you don't get more experience from these guys, especially if you're under-leveled. And he's taking a few steps without pausing. He's like NPC AI allies in first-person shooters, just tend to run into the walls at times. And even though he approached you from behind, it is not a back attack. It'd kind of be interesting if they programmed that part in, but for whatever reason they didn't. It wouldn't be too hard to implement either. Of course, there are several strategy games where approaching the enemy from different directions does make a difference.
There, I think that was the last one.
Now we got 4 minutes left, so getting down to the end. Yeah, no heavy armors. That's kind of surprising. There's the mini-boss. He just runs back and forth. And we all of a sudden have a Fate Stay Night servant here.
It's called Rider.
Yeah, effectively a mini-boss, but not too hard. Of course, he will hit hard. But he's vulnerable to Saban's suplex ability. And annihilated. At this point, if you can't beat the Rider or Kefka, it's virtually a stalemate. But you do have to beat Kefka in order to advance the plot.
Yep. Which I eventually do.
Okay, Rider, round 2.
Yeah, it's nice they don't make you start all the way over if one team gets knocked out.
Yeah, that'd make it a lot harder. And of course, it is possible to skip the Rider fight and just go straight for Kefka. Reverse polarity, that just puts someone in the back or front row, depending on where they are. It's kind of a worthless skill, especially if that person happens to be a magic user. Yep, he put her in the back row and he attacks her. Half damage. I don't know how susceptible this guy is to fire, but it would add a little nice offensive to Terra's attacks. Now I got the hiccups.
Well, fire would make sense because we're in a snowy mountain.
Mm-hmm. Let's turn the snow to slush, slow down on that beast, and take him down when he tries to regain his footing.
Yeah. Too bad Elsa couldn't use her powers to just freeze Rider.
Oh, wrong franchise.
I know. I know. It's hypothetically, of course. But of course, this game was made 19 years before Frozen was released.
Well, I'd have to double check because they had the concept of doing Frozen for a long time. I think at least 10 years.
Yes, but it wasn't known to us until 2013.
Yep.
That's what I was referring to.
And unfortunately, our Geomancer has not joined the party yet, so he can't use the terrain either. The Rider is down. Yeah, looks like another team will take on Kefka.
We'll see.
Definitely want to throw in your heaviest hitters and/or Celeste. We're history if they reach me. Good luck. I'm just gonna stand here and do nothing to defend myself.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I wonder why won't he join the fight? The chicken?
Perhaps. Oh, save state. We're at the end.
Alright, until next time, this is Gold League Gamer 1 and Dyne. Later, folks.
Bye, guys.